Testing. Testing. Check, check. There we go. Hey, hey. The buttons work. Cool. Welcome, welcome. Hopefully you all have had a fantastic day of trading so far. What a boatload of volatility, huh? Sheesh. Hopefully you all have made it through the other end of the tunnel relatively unscathed, and hopefully better than when you went in the tunnel. As for the overall market movement, we've had some wild movement going on. The NASDAQ had the giant flush all the way down to a negative half DP. That's off of the morning brief. And it slid through the L1. I mean, I guess in hindsight, it did hold it, right? It closed back above. But man, it was not a fun ride inside of there. Well, I mean, it was if you got it in the right place, but it was pretty messy. S&P also had a really, really nice drive to the downside, which offered up a fantastic bounce. Gold kind of faded off the wedge, but it didn't do anything. Like, it's just stuck. Gold is kind of a disappointment lately. Crude had a very, very nice bounce off of the L2 from the larger perspective. Great continuation, bounce back up with movement back up towards the top of the wedge. Not quite there yet. Could use a little bit more. And then the euro is just kind of dead in the water. The euro just fell asleep. Bitcoin and Ethereum are catching some pretty good movement overall. The big move looking at Bitcoin, they tried to get that rally up into the 35,000s, fell short, and now they're pulling back a little bit. I still think there's a little bit more to go. I don't think the buyers are necessarily done yet. Falling resistance still hasn't been hit yet. We've got L3 to the downside that's waiting. There's too many things that are still hanging out that need to be done. As far as Ethereum goes, I mean, realistically, it was kind of looking like a bull flag, but now it just kind of looks like crap. I don't know what else to call that. It's kind of rolling over a little bit. We've got 3 lower highs. That's not good. That doesn't help. Buyers need a little bit more oomph than that. We'll see if they can keep it going or not. NASDAQ's got some pretty good movement still. We've got the end of the day right around the corner here in about 25 minutes. I am going to have to duck out a little bit early before 4 o'clock. My son gets back from school at like 4:04, and I really don't want to chance it, so I'll probably duck out a few minutes early. Last thing I need is for him to get here and nobody's here. That'd be a problem. So just a heads up, I'll be ducking out a little bit early just to play it safe. Bulls trying to get a rotation back to the upside here. And since we've got the S&P kind of going too, let's see what's going on over there. Big bear bar to the downside. Wow. The NASDAQ might definitely find some follow through after a candle like that. And notably, if the follow through fails, that's also important information. That would suggest that the sellers got just really badly trapped right there. It's got some pretty good legs to the downside, though. Any sellers who weren't sure before, the problem with the NASDAQ in trying to short is fairly obvious. It's mildly bullish after coming off the lows there. I wish it was a little bit lower down for me to be a buyer, which would suggest that sellers still have a bit of room. Big giant V bottom down there. Very nice bull bar. This will get buyers interested if they can trigger above this bull bar's high. This is the sellers trying to push back, and now they're getting dumped on. Buyers looking for a continuation, pop back to the upside above 410s. And preferably, even if it does drop a little bit further, it's more likely that sellers who came in at 402 are just going to be exiting at break even anyway. So realistically, as far as the upside momentum goes, upside targets make sense anywhere at 13 and higher. See if they can get a little bit of a dip back to the 2 quarters. Or even below that previous bull bar. So 13 quarter, 13 half. That's kind of the minimum objective at the moment, but if we can see it cycle higher, I wouldn't mind seeing objectives all the way up to 29 quarter. Trying to grab this little bit of a little dip here. Oof, man, they went right down to the tick where where those sellers were in short earlier. It happened so fast. Still looking for upside objectives. Now that we have a bit more of an actual risk calculation, it still puts a target at 13, 18, 28. All right, bulls looking for some continuation to the upside here. Got to see him break above those 10s, first objectives into the 13s, then 18s, and then 28s if it really wants to go. There we go, first target out. Watching the volume as we continue going into the end of this move. There's a lot of volume coming in these 1350s. I'm going to piece one more out just to play it safe and then see if we can just run this last one. There's a ton of volume up here in the 13s, and I'd rather make sure that I've gotten it locked. Now it can keep going. Upside objectives at least 28, but realistically, I'd like to see it go a bit further. More sell side resistance coming in at 16. Lots of volume at 16. Whew, a lot of volume at 16. Ooh, that POC shifted up real fast. This market has to get above 16 quarter or this might start getting whacked down pretty quick. Buyers got to show up with some defense here underneath that previous bull bar. You can see all these pockets of volume that are coming in and trying to defend this. It's just that volume at the top was so severe. If they're going to rush it, they're going to need to do it now. Go, NASDAQ, go. Ooh, volume stepping up again. Volume stepping up further. Come on, NASDAQ, get above that. Come on. Go. Nope, I'm out. I couldn't do it. The volume built too heavy at 16, then it stacked up again at 13. All the way back. Nice quick little pop. Couldn't make it up to that 1-to-1 though. It certainly couldn't blow off the top. Five-minute chart looks like a mess right now. But bar 73 after 72, that big trap underneath that inside bar, it might have suckered some shorts in there. I'm just not seeing the bulls come in. If they're so impressive, where are they? Whoops. I didn't mean to click that twice. All right, well. Oh, nasty trap, NASDAQ. Dipped under the low and then jerks back up again. That's rotten. Careful, because this is where they'll trap buyers in buying high just so they can dump the orders into them. What would be an obvious concern is a big wall of orders that all of a sudden comes out of nowhere. Oh, no, of course, now they're working through it. John's not long. That's all good. Fine, I get it. All these volume pockets, and now it's just popping through them like, pff, no big deal. Nice string of bull bars to the upside. Buyers trying to maintain that strength above that previous move. S&P getting a nice launch. $38. How much volume came in at 38 when the market popped back there again? Is there a lot? None. Nobody showed up to the party. $38, $37, $36. This is where scalpers will start coming in, trying to get a continuation pop to the upside. 38 to 39, 37 to 38. Pullbacks inside of there. We haven't quite made it to the highs yet, and the market's still waiting for an objective that's real close. But as long as that remains open, we've still got objectives. He says as the market completes the objective he was just saying was open. Cool. All right. I'm going to cancel those. That's fair enough. Bull seeing more continuation to the upside with a big nasty trap underneath that bear bar. Nice gapping beyond that previous candle. Honestly, if buyers come back to that 40 quarter area, it wouldn't be a surprise at all to see buyers pick it back up. Even though it's a really strong big bull bar, it's kind of forcing people to buy high. It gapped beyond that, that channel. That's a really nice break point. There is some candle gapping to the upside as well. Candle gapping objectives. Yeesh. 46.75 at the moment. Watching the NASDAQ, if they can get a little bit of a dip back down to like the 35s, 34.75, somewhere inside there, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Let's see, 40 quarter, 41 quarter. Scalpers longs hits and jumps up. See if the S&P wants to finish the job. Watching the NASDAQ, if it can dip a little bit lower, would still like the 34s. Okay, target filled on the S&P. That's fair enough. NASDAQ looking for a bit more. It didn't pull back enough. I wanted more than that. That just wasn't good enough. It's really frustrating in hindsight. They juked me out of my long. Boy, did it look like it was reversing, too. They did a great job tricked me right out of it and just handed it to him on a silver platter. Haven't quite broken above that previous major high, 52.75 or so. The last pullback, I mean, it was about a 50-60% pullback and then a continuation back to the upside. We haven't broken a new high yet, so it wouldn't necessarily be a surprise to see maybe a little bit of a deeper pullback. But the bulls seem like they've got the shorts really stuck going into the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if even a dip to 35s was bought. Looking from the bigger perspective, NASDAQ is seeing a bit more continuation to the upside. The S&P is, I mean, it's basically flat. Nothing's happening. Crude oil is dead sideways. Bitcoin's pulling back a bit. Euro's dead flat. Gold, I think, forgot it was a market. It just went to bed. Got about a minute and a half until we go into 350, the final 10. Last 10 minutes of the day tend to be pretty aggressive. Okay. Yikes, look at that candle on the S&P. Disgusting bear bar on the NASDAQ 500 tick. Bulls might try to pick that up, I guess. There's 30 seconds left on this 5-minute bar. Not exactly the most impressive 5-minute bar. I would like to see a bit more of a pullback again, like the 34s. Wouldn't hurt my feelings. They might just pop this bull bar to close right on its high, though. Sheesh. All right, well, there goes. Final 10 minutes, the thing goes screaming higher. Big continuation pop. A lot of scalpers will be looking for quick traps underneath like the 52 area on the NASDAQ. I would prefer to see like 44 though. Quick little wash out to 44 would look really nice. You have a ton of board games. Yeah, we have a big collection of board games. We try to do like well, we used to do it a lot more before kids. Now that kids are starting to get a little bit older, they kind of understand the games a bit more, so we can do it a bit more now. But we're always trying to play board games. They're fun. We have a vast collection. Are you using a tick chart? Yeah. It depends, though. I mean, I like a 500 tick on the NASDAQ, but it doesn't have to be a 500 tick. It could be a 1 minute chart. It could be a 50 tick. It could be a volume chart. It doesn't really matter. The way that I like looking at the charts is breaking it down similarly to how I look at like moving averages. Moving averages, the number itself of the moving average is totally irrelevant. It's an average. You could, I mean, we did that before. We did a bunch of random numbers and then designed a strategy around it. Worked just fine. That's what averages are. But my approach is the same way with averages as time frames. Generally, slow, medium, fast. Maybe faster and slowest, you know. But as far as it doesn't really matter which ones you use. Personal choice. I like the tick chart on the NASDAQ because it tends to move really nicely. There's just a lot of trading going on in the NASDAQ. Well, I don't think I'm going to get my pullback to 47. Is anything else moving? Or is it all dead? All right, might just be the NASDAQ. Testing some resistance at 67.25. That is the half DP to the upside from the morning brief. Plenty of resistance there. There we go. Let's even get a quick little flush back. 47s. It's got a bit further to go. That's not far enough. Yep, Ninja charts. NinjaTrader is the one that I've been using forever, so I'm just kind of familiar with it. But I mean, again, we don't use any proprietary indicators, so it doesn't matter what charting platform you use, whatever you're comfortable with. The one helpful thing is if you're able to customize some of the settings, like the Fibonacci retracements, if you can adjust those, it's useful. They are not giving that pullback. Come on. It's a little bit of a dip down into those 46s, 45s. That's the hot pocket. Getting closer to the end of the day. Remember, I've got to jump out a little bit early. My son gets home from school at like 4:04. So 4 o'clock closing time might not be the exact time that I need to go until, but got a couple more minutes left. Sheesh, just screaming. NASDAQ popping back up to the highs with very little pullback. Oh, double test on that resistance and now trying to come back down. I'm very curious to see what the bull's response is to that. That's a lot of volume at 61.25 too. Holy crap. Ooh, they're going up. Who's trapping who? The shorts tried trapping them. More volume stepping up. Might be preparing for an end-of-day dump. I would prefer a washout to buy into. Bars are still staying above volume. Quick little flush to the 61s. Typically, at the end of the day, I'm not really interested in looking for long-term holds. I don't want to hold going in, 10 minutes away from the close. Not my cup of tea. Or 4 minutes or whatever. All right. I'm not seeing anything else. We had a couple nice scalps inside there. There might be a bit more volatility going into the final minutes. Like I said, I got to duck out a bit early and get my son from his school. So that'll do it. Enjoy the rest of the day. Hope you had a fantastic day of trading, and we will see you all back tomorrow. We should be back on like normal schedule again now that things have calmed down a little bit. But anyway, before I talk myself into my son being late, I will go. So enjoy the rest of the day. I will talk to y'all later. Thanks.